Welcome, everyone, to the PW Fan, the ultimate pro wrestling podcast that's brought to you by the hearts and minds of professional wrestling fans. This is episode 125, and this is our WrestleMania recap episode. The three guys all went to WrestleMania. We just got back a couple days ago, and we will be recapping our experience. So join us. I am your host, collector, barber, musician, and most importantly, a professional wrestling podcaster, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Funko Pop Collector, even though I haven't bought one in forever. And like Tim said, most important, a wrestling fan, Andy.
I am also host and no-selling wrestling indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
And like I said before, just a minute ago, today in episode 125, we will be discussing WrestleMania and all things WrestleMania, our experience at WrestleMania, and reviewing WrestleMania. Of course, still stick around to the end where I'll do my classic show of the week. But before we get started on this week's episode, make sure to go to youtube.com/@PWFanPod so you can comment, like, and subscribe. That really helps us out. We've been putting a lot of videos on there. We got every episode on there. We got a couple shorts, but coming soon. And here's the big thing, guys. Jeremy's working on it right now, and I think it'll be out by at least the end of next week. It'll be out, let's say, probably sooner. It is our Mania of Mania vlog. It's us. It's our first video vlog, first of all, of us not doing podcast stuff and all of us hanging out together. And it's our whole trip, basically start to finish. It's not going to be like the longest video in the world, but it's just kind of recapping some of our experience that we'll be talking about in today's episode. So if you listen to today's episode and want a little visual component to go along with our experience, make sure to check that out. I have a feeling it's going to be our best video yet. For all other social media, all you got to do is look up at the PW Fan. We should pop right up. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We are on MySpace, Friendster, Zanga, all the things. Booker Andy. Zanga, yeah, that's right. What's
Nice.
Mediafire. Booker Andy. Vampire Freaks. Booker Andy, I'm gonna pass it over to you. And I'm going to let you steer the ship, Captain. Take us away.
I mean, I guess, yeah, since we're going to talk about the trip, and as we go through the trip, then we'll be talking on the matches. So, I mean, beginning of the trip, picked up Tim, picked up Jeremy. We took a train out of Lancaster, and which was, I guess, fine. I wasn't a fan of it. Never.
Why don't you like trains?
Before. Didn't like it, man. I've seen too many videos.
Like it. Andy got himself. See, I hate airplanes. Like, I'll do it, but especially now, Andy knows for years I did not drink alcohol.
It takes a lot for him to do it.
Yeah, like I did not drink alcohol until I was like, I mean, like I would drink a couple of beers here and there with friends, but I didn't like make, weekly mixed drinks and stuff probably till I was like 30, until like I was like part of my unwind routine. But now that's like unfortunately that's like the only way I can fly is like to do a few shots, and it's for the same reason as I scared myself when I was a kid watching stupid stuff, the movie Castaway, stuff that might seem silly.
Yeah, Castaway, I remember, fucked you up.
Yeah, dude, the scene where Tom Hanks is washing his face in the airplane bathroom, and now it's all good, and then the turbulence hits, and he walks out, and the captain's like screaming. Dude, my 12-year-old brain like haywired. It was like, nope, no planes ever again. Nope, bad. Planes bad. But Andy did that to himself with trains, apparently. So
yeah, we do.
I mean, we have a video. Think it was as bad as your plane fear, but
no, but we do have
a video that'll be in the vlog, and it's like Andy's just like, I don't like trains.
It's just so upset.
Yeah,
and Tim had a guy talking his ear off during the train.
There was a guy venting about his.
Opened up.
He had been on the Amtrak since Florida or something, apparently. He was not happy.
I don't know how it's possible.
They do have Amtrak.
The train that we're on does not go down to Florida.
Yeah,
but ours does not go down.
Ours, he definitely had to connect at some point.
Train hopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I at
he
least
was-
sent us to another wrestling fan, which was nice to see.
Yeah, Jeremy got to talk to a wrestling fan. Andy got to sit by himself and just chill. I had to talk to this guy venting about his life problems. And I'm gonna be honest,
That-
or the PW faithful here, I was very stoned, and I was not ready to handle that conversation. And when he started trauma dumping me on me, it literally I could feel myself becoming unhigh. It was just like slowly
It was
going,
ruining your high.
and I was like, damn. Now I'm just sober as hell, having to listen to this guy on this train complain about his life,
Yeah.
and it really sucked.
So we got into the Philly train station, and we got out of there pretty quickly. Called an Uber.
Andy, how was your experience
and-
at the Philly train station bathroom? If you want to recap.
It was awful. It smelled like shit and throw up all mixed together. I almost gagged when I was. I was
Andy
like gagging
almost
on the
gagged
inside,
just
and
from using the restroom. As a normal human, the
I-
smell
fucking terrible, dude.
messed him
It
up.
wasn't like a normal like it. And I was chewing gum at the time, and I was like, I think the taste got into.
I want the
The
pe-
taste? No, come on.
I want.
The
I'm
scent got
glad.
into the gum. I was like, I think I can taste it now.
I'm glad that you're saying it like that because I really want the people to be immersed in the experience. Like you were in the Philly bathroom, tasting
Yeah.
the bathroom
Yeah.
in your gum.
You have to paint the picture for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
vibrant and colorful.
After the bathroom,
Ow.
we called an Uber, and then Daka picked us up. And what was Daka talking about, guys? You wanna
He
talk
was
about that first
talking about
ride?
many sexual things. He mostly to
Yeah.
Jeremy. He was talking about.
I was up front because you guys put me up front.
Mostly, again, this is where me being stoned comes into play. Not that it's an excuse,
Yeah,
but
what,
I
you
literally,
scared?
I did beg them not to make me sit up front with this guy.
He said, I ain't gonna hurt you.
And I said, "Look, this dude on the
Yeah, I got it. I got in.
This dude on the train
The
already
first
like."
thing he says to me is like, "I'm not gonna touch you," and I'm like, "I wasn't thinking about that until you said that." Now,
And then from there, Jeremy, he began to talk about, things like fellatio and just things that
He's telling stories.
an
He's a
Uber
storyteller.
driver shouldn't be discussing with their passenger.
yeah,
So-
30 seconds into the ride, we didn't even make it past the first light when he was talking about this. So
There was DS references, and I'm not talking about Nintendo. Not talking about Nintendo, folks. There was DS referencing within the first, what would you say, 20 seconds of us pulling away from the train station?
yeah, that was his like first thing that he wanted
Got
to talk
onto
about.
the street from the train station and at the light, and he's already talking
Yeah.
about it.
And he's talking about how girls come in the Uber and do things to him.
Apparently,
To
allegedly.
be fair, if you're an Uber Philly
Ubi.
driver, if you're a Philly Uber driver, you got to be out of your mind. So I kind of like we should have expected it.
Yeah, but
So
then
I-
afterwards, we got to the hotel.
So Daka dropped us off at the hotel, and I'm checking us in while Tim and Jeremy are basically head down like they're my children, and I'm playing dad real quick, checking us.
I'm the oldest of the
in.
group, but I was standing behind Andy kicking my suitcase like I was a little kid ready to like he was bored and wanted to go play on the playground.
Yeah, I think that was the end of me being sober on the trip too.
I did not let
Yeah,
Jeremy
with
from
him.
that point on be sober the rest of the trip. That was Jeremy's
we
last
got up
sober
to our
moment.
room. We got up to our room, and we had about an hour or so before we had to go.
Yeah,
Which this is what made night one kind of tiring, was all the travel and then going
Yeah.
right away. Basically, once we got to the hotel room.
it was cool to
Um,
see all the wrestling fans like at the hotel as well. Like, you see all the like people walking around with belts, all the wrestling shirts, and even like the staff was asking about the show.
It
Yeah,
was
so we
really
stayed at the Marriott in Old City. It was a really nice hotel. I actually
Yeah.
liked it a lot.
and
Yeah.
it like Jeremy's saying,
Shout
just to tag on real quick, it just felt like we all, especially look, the show's called the PW Fan. Andy's a wrestling fan, Jeremy's a wrestling fan, myself, and all the listeners. We all know what it's like to be the wrestling fan, and somebody's like, "Oh, you like wrestling?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
and you gotta like kind of defend it, but you like feel like kind of awkward. It just for once, I know they felt it too. Felt like it was nice to be amongst friends. Like you didn't feel like a quote unquote weird, like a weirdo. You had your people with you that also understood and liked it, and the staff, like Andy was saying, was like pretty amazed by the whole thing. So they had questions. And that kind of criticism, not criticism, but those kind of things I can appreciate people asking. I don't like it when it comes like to making fun of me for liking it.
For example, our first Uber driver was talking shit about people wearing titles or bringing titles too.
Meanwhile, mine, the Eddie Guerrero Undisputed was in this dude's trunk while he's talking shit about people holding titles.
That was too funny.
So when we're in the hotel room, I shower, they get ready, take some videos, take some shots, take some hits off the pens.
I gave Jeremy a lesson in the we call it being crossfaded. You got to do 2 shots of vodka or tequila or whiskey. You know, something heavy, heavy hitters. You got to do 2 shots.
Tim likes to take shots of Tito's,
and then you take 2 rips. And then, dude, I'm telling you, Jeremy experienced it for himself. You're sitting on a great place.
When Tim says rips, he means long, long, long rips.
Long rips. And Jeremy followed my diet for the weekend, and man, he was feeling good when we got to the show.
I'll say this: on Monday afternoon after we got back, I do feel like I'm still there, like withdrawal from the weekend.
Jeremy was like, "Damn, I might have to go get a couple of Tito's from the liquor store."
So it's time for us to leave for night 1, and we call a second Uber. And this white Tesla pulls up, and it's Roberto. And we had trouble getting in because we've never.
It's a Tesla, and also the fact that Tim and I are out of our minds right now.
Yeah, at this point,
They're
Jeremy.
minds. This time Andy, I sit up front.
For the people at home just wondering where Andy is on this, Andy's living the CM Punk lifestyle. Andy's a sober man, so he is babysitting Jeremy and I at this point of being.
I don't drink anymore. I smoke, but I just didn't smoke on that trip.
Yeah, Andy was like, "Look, I'm not trying to have a panic attack and ruin WrestleMania." So at this point, he's just babysitting Jeremy and I, being out of our minds.
And we get more into that on night 2. There's less babysitting night 1, but night 2, there's a stretch where I'm corralling my kids through the stadium.
We're eating pizza. Jeremy and I are eating pizza drunk and high.
The best pizza I've ever had.
So we get in the second Uber.
Best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah, the worst best,
We get in this second Uber, and Roberto's driving, and he's asking us if we speak Spanish. He clearly does, and
he clearly speaks Spanish.
We're passing Burger King. We're talking about Burger King and how nice that would be.
So here's what happened.
I guess he wanted to play music because his Tesla was having issues, and he starts freaking out. What's wrong with his Tesla? And then I'll pass it over to you guys on what happens next.
My version of events was like at first he was like pretty chill, but I was like, oh god, this guy's gonna be crazy. And then he kind of was crazy for a minute, but then he got like all caught up, like Andy was saying, he was like, something's wrong with my Tesla. Like, and he was like, working on that while driving, which was like very uncomfortable, like driving in heavy traffic. So I'm trying to like the 3 of us at some point just start trying to talk about wrestling to like, at least in my mind, I was like trying to like ease my tension. I was like, okay, so the show's going to be really good tonight. And we're like talking about wrestling. And then like Jeremy and I are on our spiritual journey at this point. We're pretty heavy in. So I saw a Burger King on the side of the road. And in that state of mind, I was like, oh my God, like, I could go for some BK right now.
This would be the best thing ever.
It would BK and Andy. I remember Andy making the joke, being like, "You came all the way to Old City, Philly, to eat BK," and then right at that moment, he just started blasting Bad Bunny. Like he was like, "I'm done hearing you guys.
Blasting
I'm
0
done
to 100.
hearing.
Right.
Finished hearing you guys talk. Shut the hell up. We're listening to Bad Bunny."
And then we start texting in a group chat about how hilarious.
Oh, I
this
couldn't.
whole-
I couldn't stop laughing. Like I had to keep like putting my head down and like looking at the window because I was laughing so hard.
He's like, God, these fucking.
Which
people
that
need to
honestly
shut the
happened to
fuck up."
Jeremy and I multiple times. That happened to Jeremy and I multiple
That's-
times during the trip.
Yeah.
So when we get to the stadium, he basically drops us off on the side of the road.
Which
we
did
like, this is good here.
we did ask him to be fair. We were like, hey, you can just drop us off here. Please let us out of this car.
We didn't realize that was between crosswalks, which they barricaded the sidewalk off, so we had to find a gap between those. And this entire time, Tim and I are cracking up right now.
He was also saying that for $1,000, he'll fight everyone in that ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he was like asking us how much it cost and everything.
So then, okay, so once we get dropped off, it's pretty straightforward. Basically, we just walk our way to the stadium, make our way to our seats.
It is a nice setup that Philly has there for the stadiums.
Yeah.
I was I had to sit next to an infant.
Yeah, so we get to our seats. We were in the hundreds.
Someone brought
section.
their baby to WrestleMania.
Yeah, like
they're carrying their
less
baby.
than a year old.
Yeah.
I'm talking full pyro, no headphones.
No, they had headphones later.
Oh yeah, they had headphones. Yeah.
Later? Like
I made a
after
joke
the-
about it. I was like, "Hey, ask them if I can borrow the headphones."
After enough
Okay.
pyro happened that the mom was like, all right, maybe I should put some headphones on.
She's like feeding him a bottle like mid Mania. It was wild.
Dude, he was
Yeah.
crying.
She got interviewed.
I was trying to smoke a
She got
yeah.
interviewed.
If anybody was watching the Mania pre-show and saw the lady with the baby getting interviewed, yeah, and she was like, "Oh my God, WrestleMania is
her,
for
yeah.
everybody, even babies." Yeah, yeah.
It was a social thing. Yeah.
Imagine trying to vape nicotine with a child.
Yeah,
literally
Tim
sitting
has
in
his
one foot.
nicotine vape and his weed vape, his weed pen in the stadium the whole time.
I'm amongst
Um,
adults. I'm trying to do adult things.
So,
There was
before
no-
the show begins, we're
there was
sitting in.
no kids there, which we'll talk about, but there was like literally like one kid that I saw in our section both nights.
Yeah, there's a Sami Zayn fan behind us, which we'll talk about. But
Oh boy.
so we're sitting there. There's a guy like 2 rows up, just standing the whole time in a Eagles jersey. We're making bets. He's drunk. We're making bets how long he's gonna last.
I'm pretty sure I thought it was the Eagles game it was going to.
Which I turned out to be right. My bet is once the actual wrestling started, we would not hear a peep of this guy for the rest of the night.
God, dude, that guy
Silent.
stood the entire time before the show and then sat the
yeah.
entire time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
before the show, he was like, "This is an Eagles game. I'm getting everybody hyped." As soon as actual wrestling started, the dude never stood up again. The rest of the night, he was just sitting at full Eagles gear on head to toe. I was like, I don't even think this dude like.
That was too funny.
DJ Ghost is DJing the whole time.
Oh
We
god.
decided to get food. Food choices in the hundreds level wasn't great. We each got 3 cheesesteaks. Mine, the cheese wasn't even fucking melted. It was like sharp American
Okay,
or sharp
first of
provolone,
all-
like
Yeah.
If there's any Pennsylvania people in here, I'm sorry. Jeremy and I understand. Andy is referring to he's complaining that they put
Oh my god.
Cooper Sharp on his cheesesteak, which is fucking delicious. The problem was it wasn't melted all the way. So that is a valid criticism, but don't
all
ever
the way. It wasn't melted at all.
but don't
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't at all.
dude, don't disrespect Cooper Sharp.
That's
Come
not
on.
even the worst part.
But-
I got a
Andy-
pretzel. It was wet.
Oh, go ahead.
It was
It's
in
wet
a bag
pretzel.
and it was wet. It was a wet, soft pretzel
And
twist.
we had crab fries that weren't crab
And then we had
fries.
these crabby fries thing with cold dipping cheese, and it had like
Old
not
Bay.
McCormick, Old Bay. It was like the Old Bay.
Also,
you can't
Andy
find.
is from Maryland, or so is Tim, and we all
We're all
are.
from Maryland.
Andy still
Well, I
lives
should
in
say,
Maryland.
Jeremy and myself are Pennsylvania transplants, but we're all a Maryland
Yeah.
OG people. And I will say, as an OG Marylander, I was like, bruh, these are not crab fries with the fuck is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So another thing, this is all before we get into the matches. What else happened? Tim and Jeremy went to smoke. They were looking up or
Oh my
looking at a
god!
cop.
I
It was a
totally
cop.
forgot about this.
You
I
want to
did-
tell that real quick?
Even though weed is decriminalized in Philadelphia City, like
Still get kind
and
of weird about it.
and Jeremy and I both have our
You
medical
can't be
cards,
vaping at the
like,
stadium.
it's still
Yeah.
weed. It's still weed, so it's like 20 years of like being careful. So I jokingly did a little sleight of hand, like handed Jeremy my vape pen, and then we looked down and there's just a cop staring right into me and Jeremy's soul.
Like
Just
the Willem
being
Dafoe
like, "Hey,
meme.
what's up?" And,
Yeah.
dude, it was incredible.
And then we both look off into the distance, like somehow that's going to like distract them and not for them to look away. And we thought we were clever in that, but they knew. They knew. No, Tim's walked away.
So let's get into the matches, and we can talk about the one thing later.
Yeah, we'll talk about those things later. Yeah.
Night one matches. Well, before it, so we got to see the announcers come out and went Michael Cole, Corey Graves, Pat McAfee.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then Triple H opened up WrestleMania Night 1.
Yeah,
Right.
that was
And
awesome.
the first match was Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the women's WWE Women's World Championship. Becky came out, her gear had, it looked like, I guess, passages from her book on certain parts of her
that was
gear.
from her book. Yeah,
And then Rhea Ripley came out to Motionless in White live performing her
that was pretty
theme
cool.
song.
You know what's funny about that? I showed one of my friends actually that, and that was apparently one of her favorite bands ever. And she was like, "It's a dream to see them live." I had no idea who they were. I was like, "Oh, look at this cool band that I saw them playing," and she was like freaking out.
And it's also Rhea Ripley's favorite band.
Yeah,
I mean, I used to listen to them. I wouldn't say I'm an active listener of them nowadays, but I used to be.
yeah.
But the match itself, I expected Becky to win. I think that was my prediction, while y'all said Rhea, and
Yeah,
Mommy remained on top. I thought the match,
that was a good match.
I thought it was a strong opener too. Good match.
Yeah,
Strong opener. Back and forth. At one point I couldn't really tell, but Rhea won, I believe. Again, we're talking about this, but as you're there in person, it's kind of like you're taking it all in at once. It's like seeing a movie in theaters and be like, I got to rewatch that and like kind of break it down. But
It's
she won,
also
I believe, with
like,
a riptide hitting
Yeah.
her in the turnbuckle. Right, it was like a riptide on the turnbuckle, and then
yeah,
pinned her 1, 2, 3, and Rhea Ripley remained champ.
yeah. It was a really good start to the show, and it's totally different. Like I think all watched the show back after we got back, and it's a totally different feeling of like it felt like a different match when you watch it on Peacock rather than live.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
we didn't watch it back on Peacock when we got back, but we watched like to the hotel. We watched.
Yeah,
clips
yeah. I mean,
online
like
and stuff.
afterwards.
But we did when we got back from Philadelphia to our own houses. We did go back. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just feels different because one, you don't hear commentary if you've ever been to a
It's
live wrestling
It's
show.
a weird
The
adjustment.
ring sounds different. Everything's just
Yeah,
you just take it in differently. Different senses are going.
yeah,
But our second match was the ladder match, and so there was 2 winners. I don't know when they announced it. Maybe we missed it, but each set of titles were going to be hung up separately. And so
Yeah.
you take one down, and then you'll still have to get the other. So first titles to go down were the SmackDown titles, and that was taken down by Eggtown Down Under, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller. But then basically I think Grayson got taken out of the match for the rest of the time by going through
Yeah.
a ladder.
Which was kind of surprising, I think, for them to win at least one of the tag titles, because I don't think any of us picked them to win or even
I think
might
I
even
did.
be in the match.
I think I picked. No, because we didn't know there
No,
was 2 titles. So yeah, I think I picked Awesome Truth, which I
Yeah.
was correct. Awesome Truth did end up getting the titles, the Raw Tag Team titles. I think it was Miz that grabbed them in the end, though. Am I mistaken?
No, R-Truth grabbed them
R-Truth
because he was
grabbed
up
them, really?
there, and then like it was a little windy there too because it was a cold night as well. But like
Okay.
the titles kind of went behind him, and he had like grabbed the whole thing off.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So Awesome Truth are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. Judgment Day no longer has any of the titles. The match itself, this is one of those I need to go back because there's a lot going on. And there's
Yeah.
multiple teams. You can't pay attention to it all. So
Yeah,
there's
Johnny
things that I
Gargano.
saw that maybe other people didn't, and there's things that I think watchers at home saw that I didn't. So, but I read everything I read said was that people thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that Gargano spot where he did like that swinging DDT through a table on I forget exactly who it was who went through a table, but that live and also on Peacock looked really cool. Like that was crazy.
Third match: Rey Mysterio and Andrade teaming up against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it was just a straightforward match. It was good. There wasn't anything. Yeah. Oh well, I mean, the ending there was stuff that happened, but wrestling wise, technical wise, I thought it was solid. I mean, I like Andrade probably more than the casual fan does.
Yeah, I think we kind of all do. Yeah, because it was nice to see him actually wrestle.
Winners were Rey and Andrade. I'm surprised Andrade didn't get the pin, but it was caused by two gigantic men coming out in Eagles Rey Mysterio masks. Yeah. And it turned out that they were two players from the Eagles. One was Jason Kelsey, well, former player, and I don't know the other guy's name. Jeremy would know better than me, but
I think his name was.
I know that.
Lane Bryan, I think it was, or might be getting that wrong. But anyways, it was really cool to see Jason Kelsey there because he was one of my favorite Eagles players too. And he just retired just recently, and he's a huge star in Philly. And when he took off his mask, because they wore their like luchador masks, and the crowd went crazy, and then he ripped off his shirt too, which I thought was hilarious. But and he was a lineman, Jason Kelsey, and he's like a 300-pound guy. He hopped over the ropes when he jumped in the ring, like Rey Mysterio does.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy to me that a 300-pound guy can do that.
I don't know why I can't find the other guy's name, but
yeah, everyone kind of forgot about the other guy, anyways.
Lane Johnson, you were close.
Lane Johnson,
another former tackle.
Yeah.
But they helped secure the win, taking Dominic, throwing him into the post. And then they came in, took off their masks, took off their shirts. Cool. Next match. I didn't think it was that bad in person, but maybe I need to go back. Jey Uso.
Yeah, go back and watch it because I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Jey Uso defeated Jimmy Uso, so it wasn't good. Tell me.
No, it was not good.
Did they just not have the chemistry to be against one another?
Weirdly enough, yeah. It's like, even though they're brothers and have been wrestling together forever, it felt like, and I think the difference is it was a one-on-one, and they're not singles wrestlers, as everyone's been saying. I mean, Jay's probably...
Jay now more than Jimmy, probably.
You know what I mean? Like, overall, they're not great singles wrestlers, per se. Yeah. So, but Jay is getting a lot better, I think. Jimmy is the one I think now is going to struggle after everything. But, before that, also, for Jay's entrance, they brought out Lil Wayne to rap a Millie.
I wish Tim was here, because that was the weirdest
part,
one of the weirdest parts of the...
it was cool to see Lil Wayne, but then we're like, all right,
20 seconds of a Millie, and then just kept yelling throughout.
Yeah, for his entrance.
Jay's entrance.
But yeah, and then the match itself was actually kind of funny because there was a bunch of super kicks. Like every other move probably was a super kick.
Well, they have the same moveset. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say they do have the same moveset.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jay ended up winning out for forget what exactly the finisher is, like a super kick and a splash or something. But the crowd was not really that into it.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it. It didn't feel that long.
No, it was like 15 minutes, maybe, if that.
The next match was Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi teaming up against Damage Control. Winners were Jade Cargill, Bianca, and Naomi. if I remember correctly, each of the three got tagged in one time. Jade ended up getting the win,
That's
if I'm
right.
not mistaken. I mean, she didn't wrestle long, but for what she did, she looked great. The match just kind of was what it was. I think it was a showcase. A little bit of everyone, it's Naomi's first one back. Jade Cargill's first ever.
Yeah. She did pretty well.
Had a quick moment to shine. It wasn't that long of a match, and it was sponsored by Wingstop. We should say every match had its own sponsor.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That was kind of tough to watch sometimes because it was
Prime logo was in the middle of the
all
ring.
around. Yeah, all around the stadium on every single LED light was whatever advertiser was for that match. So like Wingstop for this match, it was like the Wingstop logo and then the box or thing of chicken wings.
It wasn't just the logo. It was like you had two big fucking pieces of chicken.
Yeah, and it was like hard to watch it because you're like, why is there chicken wings all over the stadium?
All right, next match for night one. It was the best wrestling match.
Yeah.
And that was Sami Zayn versus Gunther.
Sami had a cool entrance too, like showing him from backstage all the way until the entrance.
Yes, he met up with Kevin Owens. Kevin slapped him to psych him up. Sami went out there, and he ended up dethroning Gunther after 666 days of being the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Sami's wife was up front. His son was backstage, and big pop for Sami. Match, like I said, it was good. Sami,
the crowd was really into
classic
Sami.
Underdog.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the saying? Something versus Goliath. What's the guy's?
Oh, David versus Goliath.
David. Yeah, it was like a David versus Goliath match.
Yeah.
Sami ended up winning as the new Intercontinental Champion,
which I don't think any of us saw happening.
Main event of the night. It's a big match, big fight feel. The Rock and Roman Reigns teaming up against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. If The Rock and Roman won, it would be Bloodline rules for the main event of night 2.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this match?
You want to talk about The Rock's entrance first? I think he was the only one in this match
that came out first. Cody and Seth came out first.
Cody and Seth, yeah.
Then Roman and Rock was final, or did Rock come out before?
Rock was first, and then Roman was last.
So Rock's entrance, it was like it's the whole like video game final boss thing is like the theme of it, and it's like final boss engage, which Jeremy didn't like.
I was like, that was weird.
It was like a power up count to 99, and then lightning. If you smell, Rock came out. There was a big. We saw it at a different angle than people that were watching because they showed like kind of the top like angle,
which looked cool on like the overhead shot.
Kind of. We were like, I think that's a Brahma Bull,
yeah.
On fire right now.
Yeah.
Rock came out, walked into the fire. He was wearing like, I guess, an expensive like track outfit with the vest. And if you saw one
very expensive,
Raw, he came out in that same vest.
He had that title too. That was it Muhammad Ali's
title? Yeah,
family gave him
that he got at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But he was wearing. We thought for a second maybe he's just gonna wear this, and it's gonna be like
I thought it was wrestling in it.
What he wore during the I Quit match with Mankind, but no, he had his gear underneath. So the match, I remember at one point, both like Cody and was it Cody and Roman, right, fought on the ramp, and Seth and Rock fought in the audience?
Yes. Yeah.
It wasn't Rock and Cody, it was Cody and Roman. Okay.
Yeah, Cody and yeah.
It was hard to like look back, especially when you're live. I think they probably did a good job at it on Peacock, but when you're live, we're like, which one do we
which one do we look at? And we could see the stage pretty well, so we were watching Cody and Roman mainly, and then Rock and Seth were on the screen up top.
Stage side.
Yeah.
If you all go to I don't know if we uploaded anything. I only uploaded one thing so far to
Yeah,
TikTok of the Mania, but
we
in the vlog you'll see where we
have a lot
where
of
we
videos
were
of it.
staying.
Yeah.
So eventually, though, both teams basically, I would say coincidentally, but I'm sure it was planned, get back to the ring around the same time. Rock beforehand is yelling at the refs, basically, don't count anyone out. He's pulling like his
Yeah.
boss card.
He's like, The Rock doesn't fuck around.
So this is one of the matches I needed to watch back. So when they got back, was it just like, Rock still looked fine for 51.
Fine. He look like 51. I'm not gonna be in that shape at 51.
Yeah, no, Rock looked great. I mean, I'm sure he busted his ass. Didn't take.
He
it
didn't pull a
lightly.
muscle at all this match.
Yeah, didn't get injured. Looked good. I don't remember the ending. Again, I was taking it all in. Like,
it's hard to
I know
remember
Rock.
when
I
you're
think
live.
Rock pinned Cody with people's elbow.
Yeah, he did. It was Roman speared him, or Superman punched speared Cody, and then tagged in Rock, who did a rock bottom, and then people's elbow.
Were they working Seth's knee, or was Seth's knee just hurt?
Yeah, they were working Seth's knee, and then he went through the barricade with Roman.
Hurt, though. I think based off the ending of Mania.
Oh, yeah, because he was on the ground at the end, yeah.
Yeah, and he wanted to stand up. We'll get to it. Fun main event, though. Definitely the most, not the best match wrestling-wise. Like I said, that was Gunther, but the most. What am I looking for? What is the words I'm looking for? Just entertaining.
Yeah, I was gonna say entertainment one. Yeah.
Match for night one.
Yeah. I set up night two perfectly.
Yeah. So we get back to the hotel. We watch the press conference, and I think we basically just go to bed. Right.
Well, I don't know. Also, if you felt this, like after each night, I think we were all on like adrenaline from being there, and like
adrenaline. Yeah.
We would like stay up for like hours.
Catching an Uber sucked. I should mention Uber to and from the stadiums were at least like $60 to $70 before tip.
Crazy. If it wasn't three of us together, I think that would be insane to pay for. But we all split it.
This entire trip, we were able to split everything 3 ways. I think in the end, we each spent about $150.
Yeah, it wasn't actually too crazy. It helped a lot having 3 people.
Yeah. So day 2, get up. Get ready. We go to, it's called 3J's Cafe. Had like a late breakfast.
That was a really good place. Yeah,
it was really good. Walk back. Tim stops at the liquor store, pick up some more miniatures, Tito's miniatures. Yeah. Get back to the room. Put on Ready to Rumble, classic for the pod. Put on Ready to Rumble, and Tim and Jeremy took a nap. I never really fell asleep. I have trouble falling asleep. I need time. I need time, man. I can't just fall asleep quickly.
That nap felt amazing, I'll just say. I mean, I know Tim probably felt it too because he was out for the longest time, but like I felt like I slept for like hours and it was only like 30 minutes.
We had much more energy this time around this day because we weren't doing all the traveling with the train and all that. And we had a nap. So I'm sure that did a lot.
Yeah.
So we get ready. They take their shots. This is where it all...
Oh, this is where it like fell apart for me and Tim, right? For like a little bit.
I don't know if y'all hit the pen too much, but they took some shots. They hit Tim's pen was strong.
I think we took some more shots than usual. Like Tim was like, we can do another one. And I was like, all right.
So this Uber driver that we took... Which guy was this?
Yeah, he was the one who scared me because I was in the back seat when I got a little bit too crossfaded, and he was flying to the stadium because he was annoyed. I think all of the Uber drivers at some point were annoyed that they had to go to the stadium because there was so much traffic down there.
Yeah, this is the speeding guy.
Yeah, the guy was flying, and I was like sweating in the back seat.
So we're in the back. Jeremy's high, but he thinks he's moving faster than he is. He sees a dog.
Oh my god!
And the dog's hanging out the window, and we're like stopped. And I turn back, I'm up front, and I see Jeremy just go. But I think
Raise
he
up my
thinks that he
phone.
was moving. It was so slow. I think he thought he was moving faster than it was.
I
And
thought
that
I was
dog
moving
just
at normal
zooms
speed.
off, and Jeremy like delayed, brought his phone back down. And,
And Andy's watching me this entire time. I had no idea.
yeah.
Oh,
So
it was so funny.
we finally get to the stadium. Again, we just tell this guy like, you can just drop us off here in the middle of traffic.
We at least knew where to go this time, so we felt better.
Yeah. So we walked to the parking lot, finished our whatever we were drinking. I was drinking Monster. Just you have to throw it away, and I did. The day before, I had to like dump half of a fucking Monster.
Yeah, that's also another thing that I will say, that we were also drinking a lot of energy drinks, and that plus mixed with all the stuff that I was taking in my body,
Everyone's going crazy.
My body had no idea what to do.
It's a weird diet.
Yeah.
So we get into the stadium. We go straight to our seats. This time, though, night 2. This is the way you're gonna do it. I'll give you all advice.
Yes.
If you can. We had club level seating this time around.
Andy did really well for this. He bought the tickets for us.
Andy did good. So club level seating, it was higher up. It was the next like level up, but the inside, you were actually inside. You weren't exposed when you want to go back into the stadium to like food and stuff. Food was different. It was better. It was less crowded.
So much better.
If it was less crowded, Tim and Jeremy had an incident of being, if you know SpongeBob and all the, sardines are put together, or, they were waddling. They were shoulder to shoulder waddling the day before. I wish Tim was here.
When Tim comes back, we'll tell the story again.
But that did not happen. Oh, there he is.
Tim, hold on. Wait till he puts his headphones on. There he is.
So. You marking it?
Okay. Yeah, marking it. Yeah.
Guys, I am back. Dad duty did call. The little one needed put down, but I had to run away for a few minutes.
Put down.
Okay, not put down. The little one.
Don't say put down.
The little one needed to be put to sleep in a sleeper hold. So she's now sleeping.
Nice.
So we were just saying, we're at night 2 now, and I said, if you're gonna do it, do what we did, club section. We're talking about the club section right now.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this, guys. If WrestleMania is in the Northeast or even down south, we can take the Amtrak again. Just a longer
You really don't
trip.
want to fly.
No, I don't. I want to go to Mania. I'm just, guys, I'll get physically ill if I fly. Like corny.
All right.
Andy has seen it. It's not something that you want to see. But what I'm getting at is club level, like Andy was saying. I just want to do the train to club level forever. That's like going to be my mania way to get to do things.
That's what we should do.
Seats were more comfortable inside. I was saying before you got here, less packed, and so I said Tim and Jeremy had an incident the day before of packed walking.
Yeah, what do we call it, Tim?
What, the 4 feathers?
Yeah.
Jeremy, Andy sent you that clip. I hope you can add that in there just for like a second of us all squished.
Yeah.
How about we give them one last night of hell? I drink blood!
I was dying when he sent that.
So basically, what happened was Jeremy and I were coming back from taking a little break, a little smoke sesh, and randomly this is on night 1. Randomly, the what would you call it, Jeremy? The concourse.
Concourse, yeah. It got
Like,
so busy all of a sudden.
It got so packed that Jeremy and I became the old sardines. You know, that whole
Penguins.
that phrase. Yeah. So we were sucked in. So if you watch the video vlog, Jeremy's gonna edit in a quick clip of. There's an old movie from like 2003 called The Four Feathers with Heath Ledger, where him and his friend are POWs at some point in the movie, and they're all squished in, and they say, "Let me give him one more night of hell," and they start shifting and trying to squirm around everybody, and that was literally Jeremy and I in real life, just trying to get back to our seats.
Yeah,
we fought for,
and just so you guys know,
for our lives.
Yeah, I'm in front of Tim, and so we're like shuffling like that, like waddling back and forth, and it's like you're like touching everyone you're walking by because it's so packed. And I like turn around and look back at Tim to see if he's with me, and he is just cracking up, and which makes me laugh then because we're also both like super high at this point again.
So we were so squished in that it became funny to me that. Like when Jeremy looked back, I couldn't.
Stoned and squished.
I couldn't stop laughing. Like I thought it was the funniest thing I had ever been a part of at that exact moment.
And then so it's just imagine just two crazy people just waddling and laughing hysterically throughout the crowd.
Which makes me think is other people were probably looking at us like, the fuck is these guys' problems? Because they were all like stressed and like squished, and we're just cracking up.
And then this kid next to us, I say, like tripped and fell, and like everyone kind of stopped, and the mom got so upset she was like, "God damn it!" She's like,
she's like, "You can't fall over." I'm like, I don't know if he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
So night 2 with our concourse. Before the show starts, we go to get food, and these guys are fried. All right, they're fried. They're loose.
Andy was saying before this, Tim, that we on night 2, like I think we took more shots or something because we were more messed up.
I think you guys hit the shit out of Tim's pen.
Well, we took more shots and we took more hits because we were like, dude, I'm not feeling as we did the old dude, I'm not feeling as loose as last night. Like, let's do it. Let's do a couple more.
We're in this concourse era, and I literally have to be like, "Come on, guys, let's go!" And they're just like,
so.
And then Andy, look at Tim's face. Tim's face that one time when you were like, "It's over there," and then Tim had this blank look on his face, like he was not even in the room.
Dude, zoned out. So we finally got pizza. We got some food. We got pizzas, two pizzas, 2 orders of mozzarella sticks.
Well, hang on. Let me just explain, because you know the people at home could be partiers too, and they know where me and Jeremy are coming from. So what happened was night one, we were feeling. By the time we were in the Uber, we were feeling like perfectly good. But Jeremy and I were chasing that same feeling for night 2. But when the Uber was pulling off, we like weren't all the way there yet. I was like, man, I'm not loose enough. So we did a little bit more activities, and by the time that we were like halfway through the Uber ride, I was on another planet. I was.
I was saying Andy was saying that story about like me trying to take a picture of that dog where my hands were moving so slow up to try and take the photo, and the dog left, and I was like, oh.
Just disappointment in Jeremy. He was like,
Jeremy was sad.
So we get our food. That like makes them get on an even ground now. That like, you know, brought them back.
Jeremy and I ate a bunch of carbs, and we immediately leveled back out to just a comfortable normal buzz instead of being instead of being obliterated.
So let's get into the actual. I don't think much happened after that. You know, I think we went back to our seats 15 minutes before.
Yeah, because it was nice to have her, especially at that point when Tim and I were like that. It was really good enough to be around so many people.
So let's talk about the
Dude,
matches
night
now.
2 was so sick. The section was comfortable.
Yeah.
The people that there was a couple sitting next to us that were Punk fans.
Well, night 1 also,
I don't
we
want
were
to
like,
call
"We're at
this,
WrestleMania," and then night 2 was like, all right, we're here.
but yeah, night 1 there was everybody was rowdy. It was cold. There was a baby next to me. It was like a
both
weird.
nights were cold.
Yeah,
And night
but
2 got colder.
night 2 by the end got really cold. My thighs were freezing. But
Warm in the beginning.
Yeah.
there was
we showed up there in t-shirts in the beginning.
I think they were a couple, but part of me thinks that the dude was in the friend zone. When Punk,
yeah, I think so.
when Punk walked out, this dude was crying. He was like he was the Punk crying fan from AEW, but like way more. He was like going on for like 5 minutes, and the girl kept being like, "You're okay," and he's like, "Yeah, I know."
Let's just say Stephanie McMahon opened up the show. Welcome back to the company, Stephanie.
Yeah.
And then Punk came out like right
before the show
at
started.
7? Yeah. Which I thought he would come out at the beginning of the match, like he would be the first entrant.
Yeah, but he's not even like, so his entrance is not on the show when you watch it on Peacock.
Yeah, no,
then.
he's
already
out there. So the first match was Drew versus Seth. Seth had a weird ass fucking entrance. I still don't know what it was supposed to be.
That was something that Philly related, as in like how the costumes were. Like that's something that Philly does. I think I can't remember exactly what it is, but like that's why. But it was
maybe
still
all
weird.
those people are like from Philly, and they're okay. And then Drew had, I don't know, guys in kilts and swords. It was like fucking
he had a whole like Scottish band basically.
So this was a strong opening match, though. I've rewatched it on the train. I actually really liked it. I felt like it was like lots of action.
Yeah,
you know,
it was really good.
Drew tweeted in the middle of the match. He grabbed his phone from his wife.
That was fun.
And there was a part where like Seth was talking to the ref, and I couldn't tell if he was like hurt or what.
Yeah, it was on the ground. They were talking. Yeah,
Drew McIntyre would end up winning, and it's. The more I look into it, it's like, all right, Drew had been complaining all this time that Seth was distracted and that was going to be his downfall. But really, what ended up happening was Drew's obsession with CM Punk would end up being his downfall, because he took that title and he rubbed it in Punk's face, who was sitting at commentary. Punk ends up tripping him, grabbing his feet from under him. Drew falls. Punk takes off his arm brace. Starts attacking Drew, kicks him on the ground. Then Damian Priest's music hits, and this place exploded.
Yeah,
I think we all
everyone kind of forgot.
Oh, Damian Priest has money. In the bank.
I didn't even think about that as a chance.
The bisexual Undertaker runs down.
Bisexual Undertaker.
The Cuntertaker runs down.
Whoa!
And,
you're not allowed to say that.
He runs down.
That's what everyone calls him.
Dude, he cashes in his money in the bank on Drew, and Drew's title, who, I think it was a way of like, he did get to win the title in front of fans. Got to feel what that felt like. But Damian Priest cashed it in, and now we'll talk about more. There's an ongoing thing with Punk and Drew now. It ain't ended anytime soon.
You know what's interesting? They said that Damian Priest, that plan was for him to cash in. That was planned 6 months ago. So imagine if Punk won that and he cashed in. That would have been like, I would have been like, are you kidding me?
I'm glad it's true.
If that would have happened, I would have been like, fuck Damian Priest. It's fucking bullshit. I would have been so mad, dude.
Yeah.
So strong opener. Definitely set the tone for the rest of the night. Night 2. I like the night 2. If you had to pick a night 2 was better than night 1.
Night 2. Already off to a better start too.
Not that night 1 was bad, but night 2 was just great.
It also helped, though, to be fair, that night 1 was cloudy and brutally cold from start to finish, where night 2 got cold in the nighttime in the dark near the end. So everybody's mood, I feel like everybody's mood was a little different. Also, and this
I
is just
want
a
to
side
address
note.
that. All these people talking shit.
Yeah, well,
We
no,
were
no,
in
no.
the stadium. People were cheering. I don't know. Maybe it just didn't. It was loud.
Look,
all right?
Yeah, it was loud.
Night two was more loud because it wasn't fucking freezing and people were a little bit more lively. But also, it's like, dude, we sat there all night in the cold and cheered and had fun, and the people talking shit
Mhm.
are watching it on the big screen in the warmth of their house. So it's like
Eating beans and toast.
eating beans so toast. Sorry, Jeremy.
Oh God.
We love
Beans and toast.
we love our British audience.
So, all right, let's just get into least favorite match. I guess was this one. It was a Philadelphia Street Fight, Street Profits and Bobby Lashley versus.
Which
the
did you
Final
say
Testament.
that we saw Bobby Lashley in the hotel?
No, because that happened at the end of the night. We're going in order.
Oh, you're doing things in
chronologically.
order. He's doing it in
Yeah.
order.
So surprise to everyone, Bubba Ray would be the special guest referee during this match, and he would actually get involved.
Snoop
Put
Dogg
on
also
the
did
glasses.
commentary.
Snoop Dogg did commentary. We already talked about Lil Wayne, Tim. You missed it.
Yeah, remember Tim Lil Wayne when he came out?
Dude, it was fucking terrible. Dude, it was so bad.
The Pride, though, Bobby Lashley and Street Profits will end up defeating the Final Testament.
I tell
though,
people all the time at the barbershop for like reference of famous people. Like we always like, you know, me and a customer will be like, you know, what if this guy walked in right now? That kind of thing. Dude, that scenario, if Lil Wayne or Snoop Dogg walked into the barbershop that I worked at, I would just be like, okay, like, what's up? But
No
like, even if like Grayson Waller, okay, walked in to Black Home, I would be more hyped on that than I would to see Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? So it's
Wait, you wouldn't be that hyped to see Snoop?
No. I mean, I would think it was funny. Like, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. But there's plenty of hip hop fans that like that might be really important to, respectfully. Just like, you know, if I don't know, if Dominic Mysterio rolled through to get his mullet touched up, I might be like, holy fuck. And other people might be like, oh, that's cool, I guess. It just it's
Yeah,
all
exactly,
it's all perspective, you know, to what famous is.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, this third match, AJ Styles, LA Knight. AJ Styles had new music. I rewatched
I got
the
a
match.
headache remembering this match.
I enjoyed the match rewatching it. We could not enjoy it, and you can hear it. You can hear some of the things we were chanting up in our section. Turn the light off. Oh, please turn the light off. I also couldn't concentrate, not just the light in our face, but the people around us being so angry. It was so funny. Like,
They got so angry about the
the
light.
light's still on.
Like, turn the fucking light off.
Turn the fucking light off.
Like them yelling is like they can hear them in the production.
Yeah, it was really distracting. I
mean, it was a good time still, but it was just like we weren't concentrating on the match at that
How
point.
about you, Tim? During this light incident,
It's funny. I had a barbershop customer today be like, "Yeah, I was at Mania 2, and yeah, during the AJ match, people kept chanting about some lights or something." And I was like, "Yeah, I was up in one of those sections." They were, and
it would go around,
and
the
I would
stadium.
explain why. And I
Yeah.
would say, "Look, we were chanting, please turn the light off," because there was this one light that I don't know why it needed to be on, but they just like were
It's so that the
blasting.
people at home, it doesn't look like it's like a black.
I
Like
know, but they
background
were
audience.
blasting everybody out. Like if you were
But-
trying to take a picture of the match or a video, you
Yeah.
like literally couldn't. It was like unusable footage.
Also, like if you notice on night 1, they had a totally different lighting set. Like it wasn't like that. They didn't have light shining to the crowd. I noticed on night 2, they had the crowd more lit up, which is why they had that light on, especially. Which is like I don't know, like they dimmed it down a little bit afterwards.
A little bit.
Yeah, it was still annoying.
The next match was so LA Knight would defeat AJ Styles. Next match was Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Logan Paul came out on a Prime truck and shot, quote unquote, the Prime bottle to loud pyro.
That pyro scared you guys.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me and Tim. I wasn't expecting it. I thought like Prime was
I
gonna
know.
come out of it.
Andy,
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why, and I'm curious as to if there's any other wrestling fans who go through the same anxiety. I don't know what it is, Andy too. Since we were little kids, the pyro. I don't know why.
It's different. It's. I don't
It's-
have a problem with it when I know, but there were people that I forgot. Oh, there's a second round of pyro. Or,
Now
oh,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pyro as an adult, I just cover one of my ears and I can normally deal with it pretty fine. But there was a point where Andy remembers this when I was like maybe 11 or 12, where the pyro would stress me out so bad that I would like go not hide, well, basically hide. Full
I like bolted
transparency.
from my seat on a
Yeah,
first
like
event.
go hide in the bathroom, wait till the intro of the SmackDown pyro was over, and then come back to my seat. Because, like, I don't know why I was like sensitive to,
Yeah.
Rock's old pyro.
dude. I don't know. I was like
to
autistic
the
or something, but like, I
Alright.
was sensitive to that pyro, dude. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I don't know how the actual wrestlers do it. I don't believe getting used to it is a thing.
Yeah, they stand right next to it too. Even the flames that come up, you can feel the heat, and they stand right next to it.
Dude, there's two things in life that
Um,
fuck me up, or at least when I was a kid: airplanes and WWE pyro. Andy knows my Andy knows my fears.
Yeah. So
It's just like a nightly
um,
roast sesh.
So we were talking about Logan Paul's entrance, but Kevin Owens came out and he drove like a golf cart or cart down the ramp. Then Randy came out. Kevin Owens backed up. Randy got on the back of the cart and they drove down together while Randy held on. The beginning of the match was Logan getting double teamed by Kevin and Randy. Then Kevin and Randy started going against each other, being like, gotta do what you gotta do kind of thing. The Brass Knucks came out, but I think it was Randy. He gave him to the ref. Right?
Yeah, you give them to the ref,
Someone
yeah.
was dressed as the Prime bottle. Everyone probably thought it was KSI, like it's usually been, but this time it was
Speed. I show speed.
I show speed. Randy fucking Spartan kicked the shit out of him, and then that RKO he did onto the table, I feel like he flung it down.
He really put everything into it.
Tim was laughing at it. I remember how hard Randy
Dude,
took speed down onto that
he
table.
fucked speed up on that RKO. Like,
He did.
It was making me crack up.
Yeah.
And then
I hit the when he
I'm not a
kicked him
big,
too.
you know, I'm 33. I'm not big on the Gen Z social media, content, but apparently I saw Speed like said something on one of the platforms being like, "Yo, WWE is real." Shit's crazy. Like that shit's crazy. Dude, Randy Orton fucked him up.
So Logan Paul though would end up winning the match. I remember I looked over and Tim was like, "Oh my god!"
We're like, God
I
damn
get
it!
I get it. I get why.
But who is he going to lose
thought
to
of-
then?
I don't know. LA Knight. do they finally have a feud? And
Yeah, but that's like, it feels like a downgrade for LA Knight.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
Next match. This match was really good. I actually want to go back and watch it because I watched it, but then I heard about how good it actually was, and I was like, I don't know. When you're in the audience, look, you're talking back and forth, you're making jokes. It's not like you're just sitting at home by yourself. So we talked a lot, during this. I think Tim was kind of shut down a lot during it, being high.
There's no
Tim stayed hitting his pen in the stands.
No. Listen. There's no commentary, so there's
No.
There's no commentary, so there's lulls and things. My biggest problem for me was my eyes dart back and forth between, and I know you guys probably were going through it too. At least I think. I hope I'm not the only one. My eyes would dart back and forth between just the regular ring and then the screen monitor above, because I knew what I was seeing on the monitor above is what people were seeing on TV at home. So my eyes would like go back and forth, which would make me kind of like, depending on who was in the ring, I could almost like lose focus at some points.
Bailey had a new entrance. Everyone said this match was really good. I enjoyed it while I was there. I think if I rewatch it, I'm going to think it was even better than what it was. But Bailey would end up winning and becoming the new WWE Women's World Champion.
Yeah,
Or
that was cool to see
Women's
Bailey
Champion.
win. Yeah.
Rhea is the world champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bailey had a nice moment. But then this finale, God, dude, the ending of this show, this main event. So, Cody versus Roman. Cody came out first. He had a video of it was like post-apocalyptic Marvel's Endgame.
He came out
American
with
Nightmare flag, but the flag on the video. There was that.
Yeah, that's right.
And he rose up. He was wearing basically his tattoo, like that kind of skull with the wings, but as a mask. It was pretty sick. Brandy Rhodes showed up on stage with him, and he walked down to the ring. I'm very sick of his theme song after being in the hotel with you guys, playing videos and hearing it over and over, just on repeat. Then Roman came out to an orchestra. This match, right at the get-go, Roman said he said one last time. And this match had a big fight feel. The first, I guess you could say half of the match was just a wrestling match. I mean, it was just standard, them two one-on-one. I think everyone in the audience was anticipating, there was a lot of rumors of what was going to happen. And I think everyone was like, all right, when's this going to, pop off? And boy, did it. So I will say, remember the spot I called? Cody pulled out a table, and I was like, what if Roman just put it back under? And then Roman put it back under.
And then he did it right after that.
Ah! So I know me and Tim and Jeremy, we were all super into this this final match. You want to talk about the guys in front of us? There was a group of 3 young kids.
Yeah.
That were super huge Cody fans. That it was infectious, man, being behind them at times.
It was fun.
Their energy
it was fun.
for it.
They made me.
You can see the video of them. You can see the video of them of what happened at the end, which we'll talk about, but on our TikTok.
These 3 kids, and dude, I don't know, what were they, college probably? Maybe freshman year of college.
Maybe 21, man. Maybe 21.
Maybe.
They either by themselves and
But dude, they were so hyped on Cody. Part of me was, I don't know about you guys, but I was really thinking, I was like, okay, I'm 33. I've been watching forever. These guys are young guys that are probably quote unquote they're popular in school. They
got into it the PG era.
Yeah, they got friends. What I'm saying is it's not the typical, the outcast wrestling fan. And it was cool to see 3 guys that were so into it. And I mean, dude, they were more into it than we were. I mean, they were freaking out.
Yeah.
And it made
Yeah. If you see the video on our TikTok, it's crazy.
it, like Andy said, it was infectious. It made me be more hyped because of how hyped they were.
Yeah. So, it was like a solid match, halfway through, and then you get your first interference, and it's Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso comes out, but all of a sudden you hear Jey Uso's music hit. Jimmy Uso, every person that interferes. So Jimmy did something. Roman tries to pin Cody, but Jay's music hits, and Jay runs down, and him and Jimmy fight, and they fight up the ramp. And this is more exciting than their actual match. And
It was.
Jay spears Jimmy off of the stage, and that's the last you see of them two during the match. So then it gets back to just Roman and Cody. All right, so we're watching Roman and Cody, right? And we're like, all right, who's gonna show up next? Next is Solo. Solo comes out.
And everyone is standing there this entire time.
Yeah, I mean, the ending of this, I'm pretty sure us too. The ending of this, you're pretty much standing from this point out.
Yeah.
Of the match. So Solo comes out, hits a Simone spike. Roman goes to pin. Cody breaks out of it. Solo tries to do something again. Cody breaks out of it. After 2 times of interfering, dude, John Cena's music hit. This place went nuts.
I never thought I would cheer this much for John Cena.
Dude, it was awesome. If
I was
people
going ham.
forgot, like, why is Cena interfering? Like, well, besides like his rivalry with Roman, Solo was the last person to beat him.
Yeah.
That was his last loss. And so he comes out, he takes out Solo. So Cena's in the ring, and then you hear the Rock's music. And we're like,
immediately
oh, shit.
when Cena puts Solo through a table, immediately hits Rock's music.
Rock's music hits, and we're
then,
like, oh shit, the Rock's coming out, and then we're like, oh shit, not just the Rock's coming out, but we're getting Rock face to face with Cena.
So there's a couple
years.
There's a couple things coming up here, and I know I'm doing spoilers for one moment. And Andy, I know you're gonna get there. Andy's gonna be like, "We're gonna get there. Hang on." But there was
why you gotta tell it now?
Because it coincides with the Rock Cena thing. There were 2 moments of the night where I was like, I cannot believe that we are here, and this is really happening.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was 3.
Yeah.
One is Cody finishing the story. We'll get there. But then there's two others. One is what Andy's talking about right now, where we had a Rock Cena face-off where I'm looking at Andy and Jeremy being like, guys, we're at WrestleMania right now, and The Rock and John Cena are staring each other down. And then the next one, which Andy's about to get to, is I looked at Andy during the main event, and I said, Andy, it's WrestleMania 40, and we just saw The Undertaker give The Rock a chokeslam at WrestleMania. I don't even know how to feel right now. So, Andy, continue on. The moments just keep going.
Yeah, so The Rock and Cena are faced off, staring at each other. Crowd's going crazy. They get into it, but real quick, The Rock bottoms Cena, and Cena's out. So then The Rock gets involved himself, and
final
point,
boss Rock made John Cena look like a bitch. He
did. He did.
Andy, it was like when Shenron becomes like Omega Shenron, and he gets like even better and bigger, and he just fucks up ×4 Goku in like 3 seconds. That's what it felt like.
So Cena's now down, and Rock at one point. So Rock's in there, right? And I almost forgot. Then you hear the Shield music, and we're like,
which
"What
is
the fuck?"
Bizarre.
And a lot of people, for some reason, thought Ambrose. I was like,
they got me.
He would never be allowed.
I know, but
I
know, but for like a second, I was like, dude, it's gonna be him.
I was like, what if they did?
But it was Seth, and Seth got taken out right away.
Immediately.
But people are like, Seth didn't do anything. Seth was the most important part of this entire match.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end,
He was the most important part of this entire match, and I'll talk about why in a second. So after Seth gets taken down, Rock is gonna whip Cody with the belt.
He was like, "Come here, boy."
Yeah, look, he threw a couple boys out there, and everyone, including us, I was like, everyone kind of was expecting Stone Cold, right? If there was
Mhm.
going to be another person, someone had to stop The Rock, and then I kept saying Undertaker's dong, Undertaker's gong, dude. When I heard Undertaker's dong, that crowd felt his. No, when the gong went off, dude, another
That place.
crazy pop. We all.
I don't think
three of
I've
us
ever
looked
been in
at
a
each
stadium
other.
that cheered that loud.
I was like, no way. Lights went off, came back on. Taker
Yeah.
is behind him.
The
Choke slams
loudest,
him.
the loudest I've ever yelled at a wrestling event was this moment when the dong hit.
Yeah.
Choke slammed him.
When the
and
dong,
dipped
when
out
the
of the
dong hit the face, I yelled very loud, and it was a huge
let me
dong.
ask
It was
you.
a large dong. Let me tell you, gigantic.
There's a couple of theories of why did Taker get involved? Was it because Dusty helped him get his start? Was it because Roman beat him at Mania?
Was it because The Rock made him do a
wants-
spin-a-rooney?
Yeah, did he want revenge from 22 years ago in 2002 when he took the title from him? Or I like this one. Is the Taker is kind of like he's like the Batman of WWE, and The Rock just is abusing his power, and he's just like, you know what? It's time for you to get put down.
So
I'm
Yeah.
the protector of WWE and take you out.
my
You're
friend,
using your power.
my friend Toby, who records a lot of the recent Fallbright stuff, he's not like a huge WWE fan. Like he watches. He told me he watches WrestleMania every year, but you know, as more of a casual guy, he texted me. He said, "I like to think WrestleMania or Taker's like the guardian of WrestleMania, and he'll come out when he needs to make things right." And I was like,
That's what I'm
dude,
saying. He was making things right.
I love that. I love that theory.
So-
But also, I think it's because The Rock tried to make Undertaker do a spin-a-rooney like 20 years ago, and Taker said, "Absolutely not. I will get my revenge one day."
So now it's just Roman and Cody. But before anything happens with Roman and Cody, Seth Rollins starts making his way to his feet. He's pulling himself up the ropes, and the chair that Seth brought in with him when he first came out is lying there, and Roman picks it up, and he can either. This is the beauty of the storytelling. He can either take out Cody, or the long-term storytelling of how Roman has never gotten over what Seth did to him when he betrayed the Shield. He can finally get his revenge on Seth, and he chooses Seth, and he hits Seth with the chair. And this also ties back to a few weeks ago, Seth telling Cody he'll be his shield. He's like, "Let me be your shield." And
Yeah.
he took the hit for Cody. Roman's obsession with what happened with the Shield breakup, it cost him the match. And
It's
Cody,
what ultimately cost him the title. He took
Cody
his eye
hits
off the ball.
three crossroads. Yeah, he wanted his revenge. Cody hit 3 crossroads. 1, 2, 3, dude. In person, I know it sounded loud on Peacock, but in person, dude, everyone was going crazy, man. It was wild.
And when I was putting my daughter to bed, I didn't know if you guys had jumped into this, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating anything, but I will say night 1 was a very pro Rock Bloodline crowd, at least in the section that
That's true, yeah.
In the section that we were sitting in, at least. Night 2,
yeah,
I felt Cody was like way over. Like
it's
Cody,
all Cody.
It was all Cody night 2. Fans were loving Cody.
Now night 2 doesn't happen without night 1.
That's true. But also, like when he won that, and the woe in a song, that was like the loudest I've ever heard that. when he
Dude,
won.
people were going crazy. Watch
Well,
the video.
yeah,
on our
it's
TikTok.
funny.
These kids we were
Yeah.
talking about freaking out.
Jeremy, I posted that video that you took of the three young guys in front of us freaking out, and I didn't realize that
Yeah.
I clipped it a certain way at all, and I had a guy comment being like, "Damn, you cut it off before the biggest woe of all time," and then had like the snorting emoji of like the smoke coming out of the nostrils.
Yeah.
So after Cody wins, we got to see people coming down the ramp. You got Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, who Cody later said he thought, in typical Randy fashion, Randy had left by that
Yeah,
time,
that's true.
but no, he stuck around. Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Brandy Rhodes, Cody's mom was in attendance.
John Cena.
John Cena was
Cena.
already out there.
Punk.
Punk was the last to come out. Well, before Triple H did later.
Somebody wrote. Then CM Punk came out. Parentheses. He was not crying.
But Seth Rollins was on the side, man. I think Seth Rollins, he couldn't get up his knee, and there was footage of him, fan footage, showing him limp away at the end of the night. But he was crying on the side for Cody, I guess. And
Yeah.
Kevin and Jay helped him up, and he gave Cody a handshake.
The announcer cried.
Yeah, cool now. The announcer, yeah, Samantha Irvin was.
Oh yeah,
she could barely get it out when she said "and the new." Her voice is cracking.
Triple H though came out, put the title around Cody, Randy, and
Nick Khan.
I think maybe Jay picked up.
Yeah.
Cody on their shoulders. Nick Khan came out.
Yeah, he came out.
Bruce Pritchard did.
Bruce Pritchard and Nick Khan, and they also gave Cody. So there's a story. Cody wanted to chase a dream to become an actor, and Dusty pawned a Rolex that he had to help support Cody's dream to become an actor, and apparently Cody didn't know that he had pawned the watch. But he used to tell Cody when he was little, if you ever become world champion, I'll give you this watch. And he had inquired about it and had found out, when you went out to California to become an actor, Dusty, your dad, pawned it to give you money for that chasing that dream. And I don't know how Nick Khan did it, but apparently Nick Khan tracked the actual Rolex down, bought it back, and then gifted it to Cody. So he has the watch.
Wow.
So Cody is the new.
I don't want to hear that negativity, brother.
Anyway, Cody's the new champion. What people didn't see in person or on Peacock was Roman and Paul Heyman sharing a moment at the top of the ramp. We got to see them hugging. I don't know if it's well, Triple H said, Roman, it's the end of one chapter for Roman, not his whole story. He's now Roman's going to create a whole new chapter. Roman's been advertised now. His next appearance is going to be the SmackDown before SummerSlam. So he will be back.
That's a long ways.
Time off. Seth, I think, is taking a month off. I read, at least.
So it really is Cody's show right now.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys, man, have been carrying the company. And Seth obviously has been defending the title night in and night out. And Roman.
And he just had that surgery on his knee, too. So I don't know if he re-injured it or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but... I mean, look, we went back to the hotel. We took the train back the next day. It was good to be back, but that...
Well, hold on. We got cheesesteaks.
We got cheesesteaks at 1 o'clock in the morning. When we got back to the hotel, Bobby Lashley...
Tim, how good was that cheesesteak?
Dude.
Bobby Lashley was in our hotel with Boogeyman.
Bobby Lashley and the Boogeyman were in our hotel when we got back. We went to the room.
Yeah.
We ordered Pat's cheesesteak because we're a bunch of fucking tourists. And I know everybody's like, dude, you need to go to
But
Jim's.
you know what? They were open 24 hours and they had DoorDash, so we got it.
And I got mine drowned in whiz. Let me tell you, it was amazing.
Yeah. That's so good. Andy finally ate a cheesesteak the correct way.
No, it's in the wrong way, man. I stand by that. It's not my way.
Tell everyone how you like a
was fine.
cheesesteak.
It was fine. All right, the cheesesteak was fine. Look, I like. I guess
Andy, hang on,
it's
wait.
really-
Andy got his whiz wit, which is steak, cheese
Yeah.
whiz, and onions. The real way to eat a cheesesteak. Andy likes a hoagie, which is perfectly fine, but it's not a cheese and steak. So, Andy, tell the
Like a
people at
cheese-
home how you
like-
like your hoagie.
I like my hoagie with steak, provolone cheese, banana peppers, mayonnaise, bacon, and fried onions.
No.
If you
Delicious.
ordered it like that at Pat's, they literally would have kicked you off the premises. They literally would have been like, "You're done here. Don't ever come back."
Whenever
Like,
they don't need my money and they don't get my money, so they got my money that night.
You're like, "Dude, I'd rather give it to Wawa."
And then we hooked down a foot-long cheesesteak each and let it sit in our stomach as we went to bed right away.
Immediately went to bed.
All woke up.
So bad.
All woke up with heartburn,
So bad.
heartburn and diarrhea. Obviously,
It's crazy. But that's it, man.
We
I mean,
listened
this trip
to,
was awesome with
we
you
listened
guys.
to-
I had a lot of fun.
Jeremy showered,
I was
and
trying to say something nice, but
Jeremy showered, and I listened to Corny in the morning. Listened to Cornette rose to AEW while Andy was sleeping, which there is footage of in the vlog.
And also, Tim and I got high one last time before we left, and then I forgot my water bottle because I got so hot.
I forgot. Jeremy and I got so stoned. I forgot my conditioner in the hotel, which was like a new. It was like a new bottle of conditioner. I also left.
I didn't know that.
I left a few things. It was all bathroom supply shit.
Yeah.
One of my
Also, Tim almost forgot a lot of money at the restaurant that we were at on Sunday.
and dropped money.
Yeah, actually,
The
there's
lady
a
chased us
$50.
down the
Funny
street.
you brought it up. There's a $50 bill I'm holding right here that a nice lady. We gave the lady the
It was
breakfast.
really nice.
We gave a lady at the breakfast joint a nice tip, and I guess because we gave her a nice tip, she did the very kind hearted thing where she literally chased us like 4 or 5 blocks.
Ran down the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and gave us my money back, which was that I had left, which is so sweet.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Because she did, she could have
but no, it's
easily
awesome.
taken that. No one would have ever known.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
Andy has
awesome
to
weekend.
poop.
I'm glad I.
Andy has to poop, so let's wrap
No, I'm
this
just
up.
I'm just trying to wrap it up and say I had a great time with you guys. I'm trying to say something. heartfelt,
Andy's
and
getting
y'all
ready
were
to
like,
evacuate his bowels.
I had to take a poop. I forgot my conditioner. Just like
Andy's
me
bowels
and
are
Tim
ready
have
to
thought
be
about doing
evacuated.
this our entire. All right. Me and Tim have thought about doing this our entire lives, and we finally got to do it. And now I'm done talking because Tim keeps running it.
Yes,
So
we had
That was
let
the
Tim
best
take us
wrestling
out.
show I've ever been to.
best wrestling show I've ever been
I'm
to.
talking. You can take us out.
Andy and I waited many years, as he just said, to finally go. Jeremy and Andy evacuated their bowels many times in the hotel. I hope that you guys feel so much lighter and better after our trip. Yeah, it was a great time. The classic show of the week. Look, I'm going to be honest. It is a little bit of a cop-out. But seriously, you got to go on Peacock and you got to watch WrestleMania 40 Night 2. Because Night 2, that was really
Classic show.
the classic show of the week. I'm just saying it's going down as a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
Cody wins the title from Roman after Roman has it for 4 years. We were there. Please go enjoy WrestleMania. If you're like, guys, Tim, Jeremy, Andy, that's too long of a show. I'm gonna say I understand. So watch Night 2, but watch Night 1's main event first. And I think you'll get everything that you need to out of it. We had a great time. Andy, I know we were making a bunch of poop jokes, but to be serious for a second, we did wait for this since we were little kids. And I was so excited to finally do this. And I was so happy that Jeremy, our third brother, as we call him, was there with us. Please watch the vlog that'll be coming soon. We're so excited to release it because we really don't have any footage of us hanging out, walking around. We've done like a photo shoot and we have like a couple like shorts on there, but this is like the first thing that we've done, which is like more a little behind the scenes for us. So hope you all enjoy the vlog. And
Jimmy and Jay broke the record for most super kicks in a match with 62.
Unfortunately,
That's ridiculous.
Oh, before we go off the air, I did want to say AEW, we're going to talk about it on episode 126. Speaking of super kicks, the Young Bucks and Tony Khan did air the footage of CM Punk beating up Jack Perry. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what happened. It was them arguing. Basically, in your head, what you pictured is what happened. It was a quick face-to-face arguing. Punk pushes him twice and does a front face lock. And that's pretty much it.
By the way, Tony Khan said that it was interesting timing of Punk's comments because they planned on airing this footage anyway for the story. I'm like, oh, okay. Sure you did.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to get into it.
The audience apparently chanted CM Punk during the footage. So.
Yeah, well,
they did, yeah.
And here's the thing. The thing is, guys, I said it from the day that they announced that they were going to do it in the hotel room. This was sad. This felt sad. This felt like a desperate reach. This felt like the guy that got dumped by the girl and the guy's doing now some like real weird shit to like try to get her back. And it's like kind of like pathetic and sad. That's kind of the vibe I get from this. But we will get into it next week, episode 126. This was episode 125. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hey, enjoy the WrestleMania vlog. This is something that we really thought about, took videos of, and Jeremy's working hard on. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.